All
Greetings,
right.
my beautiful family of the IP Resilience. And sometimes we have the very special times in our lives, and sometimes we want to like find the tools and the answers today, right now. And in front of me, I think I have a special guest who will actually help us to walk through his life, the life transformational story that he's going to share with us. We have a Josh Hicks today, and he's independent, certified health coach, and he's also the best speaker I've ever heard before. So, hi, Josh. How are you today?
Hey, it's good to have be on here with you, and thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I am blessed. Tell us, where are you calling us from?
So I'm on the East Coast in Maryland.
Oh, lucky you out there. So send us like a little bit of good weather. Maybe we are sharing the same weather. I don't know, but it's so good to have you, Josh. And Josh, when I shared and when I like saw your story, first of all, I've seen it. Then I've read it. Then I've seen it again. Now we're talking. So it
Yeah.
blew my mind completely. There's so many people right now are struggling, with the same concept of health. Health is the biggest thing right now that people are, like facing. They want to invest. They are trying to find the answers to. So tell me about your transformational story. First of all, start from the beginning. Why did you start this journey? What prompted you with that? What was your why?
Yeah, I love that. It's an excellent question. And I got to tell you what prompted me to start was the brokenness that I was in. I was in such a state of brokenness. I returned home from a deployment and I was lost in a lot of ways and really just trying to find myself, find the calling that God had for me. I knew there was something deep in there, but really awakening that and really bringing that to fruition was so difficult. I was buried in the emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual stress of my current reality. I couldn't see possibility. Felt like there was no end in sight. And I was praying and trying to see the goodness in things. But honestly, when you're in such a catastrophic situation that I was in with our finances and really just trying to overcome the obstacles and adversities, it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole of the world's happening to me versus really it's happening for you. So there was a lot of pain, but in every piece of pain that I experienced, there was a lot of purpose, and it brought me to where I am today. I got to say that I was in a really difficult situation. Our construction business had us upside down. And the only thing that I could do at that point was just continue to trudge forward. Even without knowing what was coming next, I was married to the process of finding a way to get our family into a better situation financially. And then, of course, one thing led to another. It seemed like every time I turned around, there was another problem that I was facing. But you can't stop in those situations. There's two types of people in this world: people that do and people that don't. And it's very easy to curl up and your sorrows and your pains and really feel sorry for yourself, but that will never move you forward to what's really inside of you, and that's greatness. I remember like it was yesterday. I was standing in the middle of a gym in Maryland, where I'm from, and there happened to be a gentleman traveling from Malaysia. He was so from across the globe, right? Let's put that into context for a second. Here I am, 60 pounds overweight in the middle of a gym, and I'm broken, just trying to find ways to compartmentalize my stress, mask it, and keep my ego where it's balanced. But really, my ego was way out of check. This gentleman walks up to me and says, "Hey, I would love to talk to you about a program that really helped me. You remind me a lot of myself." So, that's where I want to stop for a second and let you interject. But, that's where I was. I mean, a stranger from across the globe that came up to me and had a random conversation that was the pivotal change in my life at that moment.
I like that what you said and mentioned that you had your journey from the pain to the purpose. Not everybody, sees the pain and adversities in their lives or stresses and problems as a way of speaking and making them to the better place. So yet you didn't take that pain and to make it to your purpose, you probably will not be a person you are today, and you will not achieve what you have achieved today, Josh. And I also admire that, you shared very profound, stories that sometimes strangers can become the biggest angels into our lives with the biggest message and answers to our prayers. And in what moment did you want to give up, and what did it look like to you?
It's awesome that you bring that up, because I want you guys to listen and hear this. Just unplug for a minute and all the distractions and be present in the moment. Our brains are wired to actually be below the line thinkers, very defensive and closed minded, protecting things that we value that really aren't of much value at all. But when you can have that paradigm shift and you can go from below the line thinking to above the line thinking and be an open, curious, and conscious person for yourself, it can propel you forward in a big kind of way. And that's what happened here because I was below the line. I didn't have any interest in talking to this gentleman at the time when really he was there to actually help set me free without even realizing it. That was what he was doing by sharing so authentically. He sent me an email and I left that gym that day very bitter, angry, not at him, just at my situation. Felt like nobody understood what I was going through. And I think if we're honest, we've all been in these moments in our life before. But these are such captivating moments that will hold us in such bondage from moving forward if we're not careful. He sent an email and I read that email carefully and I was intrigued. I knew I wanted to change. And I'm sure that you've been in a position too in your life at some point where you wanted to change, but you didn't know what it was going to take to make that change. Well, that was where I was, but I was desperate. So I responded with this email with a phone call being set up. And this is where it got interesting. That's when I really figured out more about this gentleman and how he connected me with a person that lived basically 20 minutes down the street from me that I had passed in and out of the gym multiple times, but never had a conversation with. So you're talking about how God really brought a person from across the globe that was going to be the connecting flight and bringing me to my most amazing breakthrough. I said yes to a program. I said yes to myself. And I want to challenge you to say yes to you. It's necessary. I said yes. I bought a box of food. My wife was confused and puzzled, even a little bit upset. We couldn't pay payroll. More times than not, checks were bouncing. We were getting negative overdraft alerts in the bank. But here I was trying to buy a box of food from a complete stranger. But it was more than a box of food. It was an opportunity for me to radically transform my life. And that was the point when everything changed for me. One decision made total change and transformation for me, not because of the program, but because of the 4 component system it offers that intrinsically awakened me to the bad habits and patterns that I had been conducting for so long before.
This is very instrumental, and the change doesn't come easy to us, and we have to make a dramatic and the changes into our life and say yes to a no and no to a yes. So things that made us to the place that we are right now, we had to somehow say no. I'm not going to go back to the same pattern. I'm not going to repeat the same mistakes or the same habits. So it does take a courage, right? It does take a courage for you to even realize that. So when was your aha moment in your life that you wanted to just really invest in yourself? When did you see yourself that yes, you deserve to get better?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I dropped weight in my first week, dropped a few pounds, and I started feeling really good. I started realizing that what it felt like to really eat well and properly fuel the body. And I started having changes so early on that I decided to start paying this gift forward and helping some other clients along the way because I really knew how I was feeling inside and I wanted to really help somebody else feel what I was feeling, that shift and change. And so I decided so early on to start really helping others because I realized very quickly that when you can celebrate others, it makes your own personal celebration and journey that much more enjoyable because now you're doing it with others. And it's all about that mindset of who's winning when I'm winning. And so I got to tell you, listen, when I tell you I was in a broken state, look, we had a minivan, and I'd like to really tell the story to edify and paint a picture of where we were. I have a wife and 4 kids, and that minivan, the driver's side slider door, if you opened it, it would fall off the track. Okay, I couldn't even give my wife a decent vehicle to ride around in. I was ashamed of myself as a father, as a husband, as a man. My pride was in the dirt. I remember like it was yesterday. I had been on program. I started in March of 2019. In June, I had been coaching for a little bit of time now. I took this van to the car wash because I wanted to give my wife at least a decent looking vehicle. The best that I could do for that thing was do a spray off and a vacuum out. That was all I could do at the time. But I forgot to tell that car wash company not to open the slider door because if you did, it would fall off. There was a string of traffic behind me. I was so embarrassed as the door fell completely off the track. I had to ask the attendants if they could please hold the door up while I pulled the van off to the side. I was ashamed of myself. I remember all the cars going around me, and it felt like an hour. It was probably 30 minutes plus that I was there putting the door back on the track, but it felt like a lifetime. The owner came over to me and told me how sorry he was that this happened. It wasn't his fault. I knew about it. I just forgot to say. And he gave me a $10 gift certificate. I put it in my wallet, and I'll never forget that day. I kept it. I still have it to this day as a reminder of where God has brought me through and from and out of for a reason, so that I could be on this call right now and letting you know that wherever you are in your pain and your hurt, that there is a way out. You may not see it now, but you've got to keep pushing forward. Your breakthrough is right around the corner.
Josh, you have no idea what your message just meant to not just to me, but for our people. I love when people are so vulnerable, when they're opening up with their stories and unashamedly sharing their pivot moments that probably were embarrassed, probably like, you would not want to share with anybody else. Now you're sharing with the world, and you're encouraging, you're challenging people, and you also letting them know, hey, your breakthrough is around the corner. If we only keep pushing one more time, keep this door to your, to your van one more time. That's okay. There's better things out there. Yes. And, you just reminded us that we do have to count our blessings. Today I was driving in the car, and for some reason, I had, like, okay, what's next? What's, next for me? I always have a big dreams. And the song came, and the song just reminded me. And the song just simply says, just breathe.
Yes.
Just breathe. So I put everything aside and I started to breathe. And I said, thank you, God, for reminding me how blessed I am, because I can still breathe. And that is just was instrumental with your story that you have just shared with us, from the pain to the purpose. And take every challenge, every change, and you can make it through. Don't give up on yourself, because you are worthy. So thank you so much, Josh, for what you have done for us. And I know that your speaking engagements, your message is going to completely break through in somebody else's life. And I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader to help you along the way. Thank you so much, guys. This was Ilona from the IP Resilience. We wish you all the best, and stay tuned for the next episode.